Sacramento's News Radio. Hi there, pal. Walsher, Roseville Numismatics and Coin Shop. If you have gold, silver, or platinum jewelry, if you have rare coins, find out what they're worth, and possibly walk away with a nice check. Roseville Numismatics and Coin Shop, interested in coins aged 1964 or prior, specifically dimes, quarters, half dollars, silver dollars, and nickels, not so much. Stop by the company I trust and that you can trust. Roseville Numismatics and Coin Shop. Family owned and operated, 898 Douglas Boulevard in Roseville. Knock on the door. Been a trusted provider of care to older adults for over 60 years, offering independent living, assisted living, and memory care. Eschaton is proud to support the growth and independence of every single resident within their communities and seeks to provide high-quality senior living services for all. Experience Eschaton for yourself and discover why they believe age is beautiful. Schedule a community tour at eschaton.org today. Equal housing opportunities. KSPJ 3.1 FM. From west of the Rockies, toll free, call 800-618-8255. Direct Georgia South, use SoCal Full 97313. Send Georgia text message anytime at 818-298-6521. This is Coast to Coast AM with George Norrie. And of course, our special guest, Richard C. Hoagland. We're going to continue chatting with him about his discoveries, about the moon. We'll take your call. Coast to Coast AM. If you want to improve your aim, you need a Mantis X. The Mantis X can improve your ability dramatically. It is a must-have for every responsible gun owner. The Mantis X is a high-tech
solid silver Ghana alien coin, part of the silver starter kit exclusively at bullionmax.com/post. With inflation on the rise and a teetering stock market, now's the time to diversify into precious metals that you can store at your home. Go to bullionmax.com/post and they'll ship your silver directly to your home, fully insured. Now start building your wealth in precious metals at bullionmax.com/post. That's bullionmax.com/post.
Maxwell took scratch and gave me some hair, my vet. She said, oh, he must be allergic to chicken. Another vet, that's Mr. Green. Third vet says it's the weather. Then somebody said, DINOVITE.com. It took 2 weeks, and the dog stopped itching, the hair stopped falling out, the Dynamite Big Martyr
Richard, there's a couple more images you sent us. Number 5, I believe, is the negative color eclipse. Tell us about that.
These are the same moon in color on the left, which is a negative color image. And you know what happens when you make a negative of a color image? Color the blues go kind of reddish, and the rounds go kind of bluish greenish.
Yeah.
Right?
Mm-hmm.
The image on the right is a black and white color, the iconless image of the full moon. Look at them carefully. What do you notice about the image on the left?
A lot of color, blue color on the outside.
Now forget the color, look at the shadings. As you go from the center of the moon, the center is toward the edge, any direction.
The marks are really dark, and the rest is all kind of light.
Yeah, and like at the edge, it gets lighter and lighter and lighter, and it gets greenier and greenier, right?
Not telling me this is brass, are you?
Yes. Are you really? That is a negative color image of Earthshine on the eclipse moon during a total solar eclipse on 2017.
Trees on the moon?
Not trees. No. Remember, the color is like false color. When you take a non-color image and you flip it in reverse, you make a negative of everything. The colors don't correspond to real colors anymore. They're just to show you light and shadow where the geometry, the detail. The moon is materialist, like the opposite right. The detail should be sharp right up to the edge, right? Instead, the one on the left, it gets very fuzzy. In fact, you can see banding. There are 5 concentric bands of light and dark. A unique situation of the solar system. The Earth reflects from its oceans polarized light. What the Earth becomes during the total solar eclipse is a huge 8,000 mile wide natural solar polarizing filter. So it's bouncing polarized light off the moon. The moon's glass is reflecting polarized light, which amplifies it enormously. So this photo, the one on the left, in this number 5, is simply a negative of a normal eclipse image processed by a very sophisticated computer program to pick up something I tried to pick up when I was at CBS back in 1970, which is to photograph Earthshine on the moon during a total solar eclipse. And now, when you can do it with technology that includes CCD cameras and computer algorithms, bingo, the polarized light of the domes reflecting the polarized light of the Earth makes it totally stand out, totally independent from the South Korean lunar mission with their polarizing camera.
And then, of course, the 6th image has to do with
the lunar eclipses, right?
Well, back in 2017, we had an eclipse which went from sea to shining sea. It went from the west coast almost to the east coast. Well, 2024, there's another eclipse in a little different geometry, but it's going to cross going from Mexico up across North America and into Canada, crossing the center of the United States all the way to the east coast. If you're in that eclipse path in 2024 and you have a smartphone with a polarizing filter and something to magnify the image of the moon, like a pair of binoculars or a telescope or whatever, you will be able to take from your backyard during that eclipse path of totality, the 3 or 4 minutes of totality, you'll be able to take your own pictures of the domes covering the moon, and will provide people with experts they can send the images to be computer processed, and we will have thousands of independent coast and other listeners verifying the existence of these polarized images of the ancient lunar dome.
We're going to have you accumulate all of them.
Well, yeah, that's what websites do. And then we'll process them, we'll put them back out there. We'll have some help from a colleague of ours in Czechoslovakia who's providing his expertise and website to do all this. And it's gonna make history. Because at the same time this is going on, which is next spring, like a year from now, next April, is the 2024 eclipse. A few months later, the NASA astronauts in the Artemis program, they go into lunar orbit, and then at the same time frame, you've got what's his name, Musk, and his tourists, his artists, who we are in touch with, and we are giving tutorials of how to take photographs close up from close lunar orbit of these damn domes in, now we know, polarized light. That's what makes them show up, as you can see on the South Korean images.
What was in the domes at some time?
Well, all right, the surface of the moon is like 15 million square miles, all right?
Mm-hmm.
If you wanted to create an artificial environment, which if civilization broke down and forgot how to replenish the atmosphere, because the atmosphere, if you tried to put an artificial atmosphere around the moon by some technique that would basically use gravity to concentrate oxygen and nitrogen, given the gravity field of the moon, that atmosphere would leak away in about 2,000 years.
Exactly.
Which means it would have to be continually replaced in order to keep people alive on the moon without high technology. If you build a dome, if you are super advanced, incredibly energy-rich civilization that can use materials and hyperspace to basically bring all the energy you need out of the vacuum, so-called, quantum energy or hyperdimensional energy, then you are able to use the materials of the moon to create a set of shields around the whole moon. Then as long as there is not significant leakage, which can be measured in millions of years, the atmosphere around the moon will last essentially as long as the dome, which is millions of years.
Who was living in there?
Exactly. We do not know. But we do know now where to go to get the answers. Because if you have any advanced civilization, even some of the more advanced civilizations in our own human past, what's the first thing anthropologists and archaeologists try to find when they encounter a new culture, a new set of ruins, a new buried civilization? What do they try to find?
Artifacts.
And the libraries.
If there are any.
Well, you can't have civilization without libraries. Because no human can remember stuff that they're not taught. And in order to go from generation to generation to generation, there has to be a repository to collect and store and provide that information to future members of the civilization.
But you're also saying that the far side, they're intact still?
No, they're much better shape, but they're not intact. And the reason we know that is we have amazing images
of the ruins on the far side of the moon, the dome in much better condition from the Chinese.
That's
And
right.
we'll be showing those on Saturday night
Perfect. Let's go
on
to
the
some
other side of
photos.
midnight.com.
Jeff in Ferguson, Missouri, get us started here. Jeffrey, go ahead.
Hey, thanks, George. Great to see you. We've been a real fan since I've heard you on With Art Bell.
Wow.
Yeah, I'm that old.
Well, I know that Art and Robin are somewhere probably having a drink together smiling.
Yeah, actually, I got a question. Maybe you can answer it. Did NASA ever have design concepts for a lunar lander for the space shuttle?
You know, it's so funny you should bring that up because I was sitting in Houston waiting for a NASA press conference one afternoon, and I happened to look over and I noticed the guy I was sitting next to was a brilliant engineer called Max Bizet, who was the engineer who designed the space shuttle. And there he was sitting right next to me in the dark. So I said, Dr. Bizet, I've got a question. If you could load her up with fuel, refuel in low Earth orbit, could the shuttle go to the moon and could it land? And he looked at me like I was nuts. And he said, well, yes, but it would require a lot of money. So you got it from Max Bizet himself.
Next up, thanks, Jeff. Brendan in Austin, Texas. Hey, Brendan, go ahead.
Hey, thank you so much, George and Richard. We got Georgie and we got Hoagie. Yeah, sorry, I had to. But he's right, George. You and all of us have a front row seat to disclosure, and it's going to be a crazy couple years. So let's all just sit back and enjoy it. But I have two questions.
It's going to be gangbusters. No one. Look, we've all lived through this negative nonsense over the last several years. Wait till you see what's coming and the incredible positive effect it's going to have on humans.
It's going to be incredible. I'm so excited, and thank you so much, both of you guys, for your work throughout all this time. So super quick, I saw some structures on the moon from 2010 from the moon reconnaissance orbiter, and the polarized light part was very, very interesting. But what I saw on the pictures wasn't domes, but I saw mosaic processing and fogging, like blurring, that they put over it.
Well, they've been trying to
be towers.
They've been trying to do this for decades.
Yes, and I saw tracks, and the tracks I think are very important. I saw tank tracks and like tire tracks, like rubber tracks. I think the tracks mean that it was us, because why would these civilizations that built all of this need tracks? I think that we went there in like the 60s and 70s and bought a ton of equipment. What did you think about that? And why were the photos censored? And how did they do upload it to the airport? Your producer or anything?
Talk to Kitty, okay? But I gotta, kind of refute what you just said, because there's no way that the Apollo technology created a set of tiered lunar-wide domes covering 15 million square miles and towering 50 miles above the lunar surface. There's no way. And the fact that NASA's been doing everything to hide these images and their veracity from all these politicians and all the unmanned missions and all the decades of lunar photography that I've been looking at now for decades, there is no possible way that we did this for this being safe. This is real. It's going to change everything. And George's, audience tonight, getting in on the ground floor, how you can participate in being part of history to help confirm this for the world. All you have to do is listen for free on Saturday night on the other side of midnight.
How do they find you, Richard?
theothersideofmidnight.com.
Simple as that, okay?
Simple as that. And we're also on terrestrial radio in Southern California, but